We're at the city of Lachish. Lachish is one of the most ancient cities in Israel. It's first recorded in Sefer Yehoshua. After Yehoshua conquered Ai, and they made a peace treaty with Giv'on, we hear that Adoni-Tzedek, the king of Yerushalayim, launches a campaign along with 4 of the kings. So there's 5 kings that launch a campaign against Yehoshua, really against the Giv'onim, because they made a peace treaty with Yehoshua. It's the first time we hear of Lachish in the Tanach. וישלח אדוני צדק מלך ירושלים אלוהם מלך חברון ואל פרעה מלך ילמות ואל יפיע מלך לכיש ואל דביר מלך עגלון לאמור עלו אליי ועזרוני ונכה את גבעון כי השלימת יהושע ואת בני ישראל. And these 5 kings come, they attack Giv'on, and Yehoshua really throws them back. This is one of the wars that he fights. It's the southern coalition of the 5 kings, and this is the famous story of Shemesh beGiv'on Dom ve'areach be'emek Ayalon, where Yehoshua asked the sun to stand in its place for a few hours while he smites the 5 kings, Lachish being one of them.
So we're in the area of the cities we before were in Beersheba, which is at the edge of all the story, beyond all these little hills. That's where we were. Everything was totally open. Here it's a little bit more hilly. The type of ground is perfect for all these grapes and for olives as well. This was, in the ancient times, a place where they found more than 1,000 olive presses in this district. Ancient olive presses from the days of the First Temple period. And that takes me quickly to the days of Chizkiyahu. And this is one of the main cities, or to say the truth, this is the second most important city in Yehuda of the time. We have Yerushalayim as the capital of the mountain, or the capital of everything. Lachish is the capital of the hills. Most important city. It's also quite large. This is about 12 times the size of Tel Sheva. And the interesting thing that happened here is that in 1935, this place was identified by the PEF, the Palestine and Croatian Fund based in London. They identified this to be a good option for being ancient Lachish, and excavation started, led by a very interesting man named James Starkey. Many years later, I'm talking about 30 years later, they start working right here again where he stopped. And then Moshe Dayan comes to visit in the excavation. And he looks at this place and says, this was attacked by Sancheriv.
In 1847, archaeologists found in Nineveh paintings in the main area of the palace of Sancheriv, where he depicts and almost narrates his conquest of Lachish.
And in one of them, that I'll pass by in a moment, there's Sancheriv himself sitting on the throne, and that's what the inscription says. And there it said, Sancheriv, the king of the universe, sits on his throne, and the spoils, or the plundered goods of Lachish, pass in front of him. So arriving here, they say, let's find the Assyrians attacking this city. And as they continue the excavation right here, they actually notice that what you're looking at isn't a ruin. Look at this. You see, it's just a filling of lots of dirt and rocks. This is the Assyrian siege ramp. Yeshayahu lamed zayin, pasuk lamed gimel.
לכן כה אמר אדוני אל מלך אשור, לא יבוא אל העיר הזאת ולא יורש שם חץ ולא יקדמה לה מגן ולא ישפוך עליה סוללה, בדרך אשר בה ישוב ואל העיר הזאת לא יבוא נאום אדוני.
This nevuah is actually saying, this is happening right now in Lachish, and there we are losing. It will not happen in Yerushalayim, don't worry. And then he goes into detail. לא יורש שם חץ, won't shoot an arrow. Lo yakadmena magen velo yishpoch alea solala. How do the Assyrians work? They come with, I don't know, thousands of soldiers. Many of them are archers. Archers are not snipers. Archers are artillery. You have 500 archers standing over there. Same moment, they all receive the order. Aim, fire. Ready, aim, fire. They're all shooting together. They're not really aiming. You know what they're doing? They're shooting towards the city walls. I'm on top of the city walls, 200 yards, 250 yards away from them. I see this cloud flying towards me. What do? I duck. Now when I duck, what happens? I can't see what you're doing. Because they shoot hundreds of arrows non-stop, all the defense of the city in that area are totally ineffective. I'm always ducking. I can't see what you're doing. And then under that cloud, they advance with these metal shields. Lo yekadmena magen. Behind these shields, I can't do anything because from within the city, I can try to shoot arrows towards you, right? But behind these shields, I can't even do that. And behind the shields, they bring slaves usually to pour dirt, pour rocks. So it goes like this. They shoot arrows, move the shields, fill it up. Shoot arrows, move the shield, fill it up, and continue. It takes months. But you know what happens at the end? They remove the shields, the battering ram breaks in. In the relief, in these huge drawings of Lachish in Nineveh, you see the Assyrian battering rams. They look like these really, really funny chariots. The battering ram. Look what it is. It's actually a wagon covered in animal hides that are wet, which means what? I can't burn it. And inside it has like a spike. On top of it are archers shooting towards me all the time, and they approach on a man-made ramp. This is from the attack upon Lachish. So now, before the siege ramp begins, what do the Assyrians do? They close off the city from all directions, let it boil a little bit, lose your food, who knows how much water, and then start attacking from the easiest direction, which is right here. What do the defenders of the city do? Raise their walls. Because you're making a ramp, you're trying to reach my walls. Look where the flags are. If you look, from this angle it's a little bit hard to see, but when we'll be climbing in, you'll notice it's much higher than anywhere else in the hill. They took apart spaces in the city, brought the dirt and rocks to actually make it higher. Because that's the only thing that will give them time. But of course, eventually, who has more dirt? Who has more rocks? Those outside, and they will actually overpower it. So at the year 701 BCE, that's the known date, the Assyrians attack the land of Judah, attack the land, conquer Lachish, and burn it down to the ground. Yeshayahu says, we are losing cities, one by one to this method. It will not happen in Yerushalayim. And then we have this amazing miracle that suddenly the Assyrians die. Why did they die? What happened to them? Well, I'll tell you this. The Assyrians claim they did not die. In Nineveh, the official Assyrian history was discovered. He tells us what happened. And there we are told of the attack upon Yehuda and all the cities taken, and how we won, and we got gold and silver, and everything's fine, and we closed on Chizkiyahu. We won. But you said fake news. The truth is, they didn't really lie. They just told 90% of the truth. This is a picture of it. The real size of it, try to think, it's about a foot high. It's a tiny little thing, really, an inscription. And this thing tells us of the attack. The cool thing is that he mentions that also the Egyptians came to help Yehuda. מלכים ב' י"ח י"ג. וב-14 שנה למלך חזקיה עלה סנחריב מלך אשור על כל ערי יהודה הבצורות ויתפסם. וישלח חזקיה מלך יהודה אל מלך אשור לחישה לאמור חטאתי שוב מעלי. What's happening? Right now the arrows are flying above our heads. Okay? The siege is happening right now. Chizkiyahu sends to Sancheriv, sorry, I sinned. Et asher titen alai esa. And he pays quite a tribute. 300 kikar kesef u30 kikar zav. I'm going to stop here for a moment. In the prism, he says 800 talents of silver and 30 talents of gold. And here it's 330. Vaiten Chizkiyahu et kol hakesef hanimtza bet Hashem. Where did I get this gold and silver from? משנה פסחים פרק ד' 6 דברים עשה המלך חזקיה, 3 הודו לו ועל 3 לא הודו לו, קיצץ דלתות ההיכל. Here it is, happening. פסוק י"ז, וישלח מלך אשור את טרטן ואת רב סריס, and the famous רב שקה, מן לכיש אל המלך חזקיהו. Sending him to Yerushalayim, and then they shout at him. What do they shout? I'm skipping quickly to פסוק כ"א, אתה הנה בטחת לך על משענת הקנה הרצוץ הזה על מצרים, אשר ישמח איש עליו ובא וכפו ונקבה. כן פרעה מלך מצרים לכל הבוטחים אליו. That is the משענת קנה רצוץ. There's a famous idiom, phrase used non-stop. Here it's coming from here. And that means what we always need to do is go check what the Egyptians say. Taharka, the Egyptian prince, describes how he attacks the Assyrians. Which means this is a very special story because it's mentioned by 3 different sources. And of course they're not identical, but they actually tell their own perspective. So the Assyrians say, we crushed the Egyptians. What they don't say, as the Egyptians came again. The Egyptians had 2, there was the first part of the army and the second main body that came later on. And you know what? What type of Malach Hashem will help Chizkiyahu? If you read through Yeshayahu quite a lot, you'll find out that in the eyes of Yeshayahu, there's no one that isn't one of the tools or one of the players on the majestic, the worldwide chess game. Ashur is Mateh Beyad Hashem, right? So is Mitzrayim. I'm going to say something very realistic and non-miraculous. Egypt was the Malach that crushed the Assyrians from continuing the campaign up to Yerushalayim.
While Sanherib was besieging Lachish, Hizkiah sent a message to Sanherib, who was in Lachish at the time, trying to pay a tribute. 300 talents of silver, 30 talents of gold. He stripped the Bet HaMikdash of its silver, stripped the gold off the doors of the Bet HaMikdash. Chazal were very critical of Hizkiah for this, and he was probably one of, if not the greatest, kings of Yehuda. He sent, a message to Yeshayahu, please pray for the city, and overnight 185,000 people die through Malach Hashem, and Jerusalem is spared.